Hi, my name is Ken Kraft, founder and CEO at Hope the Mission. I'm sitting here today with Rowan, who's our president and CFO, and I have two very special guests in Chantel and Brenda. And we're going to talk a little bit about their journey. They never thought they would have found themselves homeless, but they became homeless. And a very challenging journey that was very revealing as they worked their way through it, and Hope of the Valley was a critical component to helping them. But as we get started, I think probably the first question is, and a question that a lot of people ask is, how did you become homeless?
We were living, she had an apartment, a one-bedroom apartment, and it was 6 of us, but they kept raising the rent, like ridiculously. And a lot of the tenants there had been there for years, and a lot of them were kicked out unfairly.
Wrongfully evicted.
And so once you were wrongfully evicted, what happened?
We went to court. She took the eviction on her record. We went to LA Family Housing for help many times, and they turned us down. And we started staying at the motels. We had just enough money to get a storage and a motel for a couple of nights.
And what motel were you staying at?
Back then it was called the Econo on Sherman Way, no, on Sepulveda and Roscoe.
Okay.
Not friendly, like.
And what's
not the best place for kids, right?
Especially not at Sepulveda.
Yeah,
what was that
understand.
experience like? Being
my mom would stay home with the kids, and we told her she wasn't allowed to step out at all.
She would stay in the motel
All day.
while you went to work?
Work.
So both
For
of you
8
were
hours.
working. You were homeless, and your mom would stay in the motel with the kids during the day while you went to work.
Yes.
And you told your mom you cannot go out.
No.
Why would you tell her that?
Because the scenery was not for kids. It was not something that she and the kids would be able to handle. It was a lot of like drug trafficking, human trafficking, prostitution. And even LAPD had no heart. They would just go and just like bang on the doors. And if you wouldn't open, they had the right to just barge in there. And
That's scary.
It is.
2, 3 in the morning, you would hear like people screaming and fighting, and it was just.
You know, when I first
Not
started
safe.
doing this work, I was working a lot in these motels in downtown, and I remember seeing mums just exhausted, and they'd tell me the story. They'd work, and all of their paycheck would go to keeping them in for one more night.
Yes.
And they'd always say, it's impossible to get ahead. Did you guys feel that?
Yes.
We reached out to DPSS because we have underage kids, right? And I guess state of California, if you're homeless with a child, DPSS gets to give you a voucher. Only for, I think, for 2 weeks, huh?
Yeah, but you would think that because I had 2 daughters, I would qualify. And I remember them turning me down 3 times, saying, "You make more than what you should." I said, "I'm a single mom of 2, and I'm homeless." And they said, "You don't qualify. You're working. Where's
So
your
you
money
weren't
going?"
trying to just freeload off the system.
No.
You were both working hard, trying to make it in Los Angeles, but now you have an eviction on your record too, which is going to make it really hard to get into someplace else. Did you ever feel hopeless and defeated that you're never going to get out of this?
Yes, every day.
What did that feel like?
Horrible. It's a horrible feeling.
Did it affect you as a mom?
I think mentally.
Yeah.
There was nights where we would just gather up coins, spare change, everything that we could find. I used to work at a laundromat, and whatever change I would find on the floor, I would pick it up and take it home. Because everything counted. And there was a 99-cent store across the street, and we were so used to going grocery shopping, spending $100, $200 in groceries, and we had to go do our grocery shopping at the 99-cent store.
Yeah.
To have enough money for the rest of the week to be able to sleep there.
And was there kitchenettes in your?
No.
So how did you eat?
It was nothing but a lot of Little Caesars pizza.
The $5 hot.
Yeah.
A lot of that. So now.
Which isn't necessarily healthy.
No,
No.
a lot of soups.
A lot of soups, a lot of
A lot of
microwave
ramen.
food.
Yeah, we had my mom got us a little crock pot, and I remember she used to cook those instant soups, the Progresso soups.
Yeah.
And it used to smell so good. And we're like, oh, let's all eat together.
But eventually you get tired of eating the same
So
soup
there
over and over
were,
again.
how many of you living in this one hotel room?
It was my mom, my sister, and I, and my 2 kids and her
And
her
how many
son.
beds?
3, 4.
Sometimes it was one, sometimes it was 2 beds.
So there was 6 of you.
Yeah.
And how often did you have to move?
They wouldn't let us stay. They would only let us stay 29 days in one room, and then we had to check out
And you
for the
have to
day.
move.
And in order, we always wanted to stay together, and in order to be able to stay together, we always had to give $100 extra.
Yeah.
Because the manager of the motel would be like, well, I don't see this enough for you all.
And how did you?
we'd have to give
What
that
were your
extra.
sleeping arrangements with 6 of you in one hotel? And those are small hotel rooms. I've seen them.
We had to make it happen for the sake of our kids.
And we had
to.
my son had a lot of medical issues back then, so we had the nurse over too.
Oh, and the nurse would come over.
So we used to have those foldable beach chairs for the nurse, and she would just suck it up with us.
You know,
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I've done this work for, I'm old, but 23, 24 years. And for whatever reason, it's really weird to see a man with his kid on the streets. Sometimes you do, but men seem to vanish and times get hard. Mums who make it happen are just my heroes.
Yeah.
You know, when we first started doing this work, we were working with a bunch of mums, and it's the hardest thing. And seeing you guys now, and all the good things that are happening now, I just want you to know, I just admire you all so much.
Thank you.
And I'm so inspired because I see that. Now, while you're in this struggle,
Yeah.
you're working, you're doing everything. How is it keeping a job under that stress?
I got fired a couple of times.
Tell the story. What happened?
I got hired. Okay, before we went to shelter, I was I don't even know what I was. I was a receptionist / folding lady / washer for a cleaners on Victory and Balboa, right across the street from the high school. And the guy wanted me to be there from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., 6 p.m. to closing. And I'm like, all right, whatever. But my son used to have therapy, so I used to call out a lot. And then he told me, no, you're not reliable. I can't depend on you. I'm like, look, I'm trying my best. I'm staying here until 7:30. I don't spend time with my son. I have therapy. My sister also goes to work. And no, I got to let you go. I'm like, all right. So he let me go. I stayed without working for like a month and a half. It was only her working. And I got hired at a laundromat. I used to go to work from 5 p.m. to 12 midnight, and she would pick me up. I got let go of that place too because of my son had a lot of appointments, doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
My son's grandma used to help me out, and I didn't qualify for SSI back then.
Wow.
Yeah, it struggled a lot.
It's almost impossible, it seems like, once you're in that situation, it's just surviving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, all of my friends who have gone through it, you know, the people who we see that we serve here, they always tell me of this ceiling that you just get stuck, and it seems like it keeps clawing you back. You get a bit of money saved up, and then something
always happens.
Something always
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
They would always pop her tires. We only had one car back then.
Yeah, like unexpectedly, our first day at the motel, some girls popped my tires. And then the next day when and mind you, I was barely learning how to drive, so I would ask her to drive me everywhere.
Wow.
And she would throw everybody in our car. And the next morning I was getting ready to go to work, and she goes, great, the tires are popped. And I was like, oh. And we're like, either the tires or food. The tires or food.
Yeah. And how long were you living in the motel?
I think 2 months.
Yeah.
For 2 months, and yet you were trying to get out, and then you probably felt like you caught a lucky break, and
You know, we were so
something
stressed
happened.
out. And I remember that day she went to work, and I just packed the kids, the little bit of stuff, because we didn't leave many things behind at the motels because we were always scared somebody would barge in. I told my mom, let's go. We're going to LA Family Housing. One way or another, they're going to see that we're struggling.
And it was summer at 103 degrees. And it
With your
was
kids.
just with
Yes,
our kids.
with the kids.
And I remember we had a little bit of money, and she said, the kids are hungry, it's hot. I said, just LA Family Housing is not helping. They don't accept us back at the motels because motels have a check-in until 11 a.m. It's so weird. I don't know what to do, and I was like, take the little bit of money we have, go to the park, stand in the shade, go buy Little Caesar sticks again, have them eat, and when I get out of work, we'll figure it out.
But eventually, the LA Family Housing referred you to Hope of the Valley, right?
It was
Yeah.
so weird.
I
And-
think because my son was on oxygen back then, and I had to carry the little oxygen tank, plus
Oh
him on
my
the stroller,
gosh.
plus the 2 girls, plus my mom,
Yeah.
and we just camped at LA Family Housing. And I told him, look, dude, we need the help. Like, we're struggling. You guys want to go see the cars full of stuff? Our storage is due.
Yeah.
There's more stuff in the motel. Like, we need the help.
And you really almost felt like you had to convince someone that I
Yes,
really
and I
am.
told him, like,
I'm
look,
hel-
my child, I have a
I'm not
special
trying to
needs
take
kid,
advantage of the
like,
system.
yes. And they're like, all right, well, we only have this. It was a Genesis house. We
Yeah.
only have this small shelter. I said, we'll take it.
Yeah.
We don't
Oh
care.
my
We
When
will
gosh.
she
take
So
found
you were
out
at Genesis
that-
House before you went to Shepherd's House?
We didn't sleep
We
there.
didn't sleep there.
Oh.
We were too many for the Genesis house.
Oh.
But then-
How did you then get to Shepherd?
Because Veronica, who worked for Laura
Yeah.
Harwood, called Laura and said, this family looks like it's a good family. Let's send them to Shepherd. And then my sister calls me like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I have all the kids. I have all the things. You're at work. I said, I can't even call out of work because if I call out of work, then there's our money. I said, you're going to have to figure it out on your own. She goes, oh my God, you're the only support I have. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And then I worked from like 7 a.m. sometimes to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Wow.
So I couldn't even help her.
And what were you doing for work?
I was a receptionist as well, but the pay was just so little. And it wasn't a good environment either. It was very toxic. Like my boss would put everything on me and not pay me enough, but she would hire people with more pay and less tasks.
Wow.
And she would have me there like from morning to night. And I was like, but I also have kids.
Yeah.
But I can't complain because then who's in
You needed your job.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to know what your thoughts were when you came to Shepherd's House and the door opened, you went into your room. What were your first thoughts?
Peace.
Yes, and peace. That's what it was.
Peace,
We were able to
sanity.
breathe.
And tell me what you saw when you went in there.
A lot of families.
Yeah.
It was
But
welcoming.
it was welcoming because the girls, my sister calls me as soon as she's in. She goes, I don't know how I did it, but I did it. We're in. And then I was like, oh my God, thank God. I was like, thank God. And then she goes, so as soon as they pick you up, we're going to get here. And then 2 girls that were already living here helped my mom clean the room.
Nice.
And they asked if we had food. And I was like, so can we buy food to go with a little bit of money? No more
The first thing
Caesar
we asked was,
pizza.
can we use the stove?
Wow.
Yeah, so my mom
Because
could
you haven't
cook.
been able to.
Yeah.
No.
What did you cook?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. My mom made a lot, so we could share with
You
other
went to
families.
town.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
gosh, what an experience.
So that experience coming in, it just took a weight from you. Is that kind of how it
Yes.
works?
Yes, I was so relieved. I even told my sister, look, at this point, I can't find a job, but I'm gonna do my best. Maybe I could volunteer for them. Maybe I could end up getting a job with them. You never know.
And how was it for the kids?
Oh my God, they had like, I slept with the girls in the same bed because the bed was big enough for me and the girls to sleep. The girls are not used to sleeping alone.
Yeah.
And my sister slept in another bed with her son. Big beds, okay.
Yeah.
And my mom
had her
slept on her. We seen an extra bed, so okay, Mom, you can go. You can go home, sleep on your own.
We have our own beds.
Yes.
Did you see like an emotional change in the kids?
Yes.
Yes.
They
How long
had
did it
space to
take?
play. Maybe like within that week, huh? Because
Really?
they couldn't go out in the motels. They couldn't go out. There was
Yeah.
a pool, and they always wanted to go to the pool,
But
they
it
were
was
scared.
very safe.
Yeah.
What did the kids want to do?
Go play outside.
Go play outside. They want to go play outside.
When I go to the family shelters, I'm always struck. The kids come in the first week. They know they're in a tough spot.
Yeah.
About a week or 2 later, they act like my kids. They just
Yes.
are doing their thing. They know everything.
They own that
They're
home.
skipping
Yes.
homework.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much.
And how long were you at Shepherd's House?
For a whole year.
For a whole year. And then now you're both working, your mom's still watching the kids.
But in the middle of that, something really exciting happened.
Yes.
Ken,
We were,
I remember that you.
Yes.
I remember you came to me and you said, I think we might have something here, a foundation. One of our great
Yeah.
friends at Beachbody came to us.
Yeah.
And explain the story.
Oh my gosh.
Because you were giddy about
Well,
this.
because it's so rare that something like this happens, where someone says to me, I need you to pick 3 families. I
Which
want.
is insane.
What's that?
It's insane.
Yeah, and he said
It never
He said,
happens.
"I want to change their lives
They did.
forever."
They sure
That's
did.
what he
Yes, they
said,
did.
and he said so, and he gave us like a dollar amount, and he says, "Want to change their lives." And so I'm talking to the staff, and they're saying, you know, Chantel and Brenda, their family, you know, they
But
work so hard.
That's a complete lie, because Ken doesn't remember my name. He doesn't remember your name. It's Beltadar's family.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Because from day one, Ken has loved him and forgotten about everyone else.
What a you're so cute.
Because he's got that smile and that cheekiness.
But I do remember it was around the holiday season, right?
was,
Yeah.
right
And
before
it was
Christmas.
before
Right.
Christmas,
Oh
and you
my
came
God,
into.
yes.
You didn't know. You just knew I
We-
wanted to meet with you.
And we
We
joked
thought-
around about it because
No, we thought we were getting kicked
trouble,
out.
yeah.
Oh no! Are
We
you
thought-
thought you were being
serious?
Yeah.
kicked out?
Yeah,
Oh.
we thought
a
we
lot
were-
of families were getting housed that same
Yeah.
month. A lot of families were getting housed, but they were getting housed and we wouldn't know about it.
Oh.
We thought
They were
getting
just one
kicked
day,
out,
just
yeah.
not a.
Oh,
We'll wake up and
no.
they'd be gone, but they were getting housed.
And so I remember you came in and sat down,
And you guys were just freaked out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Laura called me, Brenda, I need you to come to the back house. We need to talk to you.
But Laura never calls.
Yeah, no, Laura would
Oh
never
my
call.
Never. She would go to the house.
Wow, I
and
didn't
check,
know
but
that.
She would never call
So
you
your anxiety
personally.
levels like
And
way
I
up
just,
here.
we had just woken up, huh? And that morning I sat down and I told them, we're getting housed, guys. They're going to tell us that they have an apartment for us. And then my mom goes, that would be really nice.
But before that, we had tried getting an apartment on our own, and the lady guaranteed the apartment to us, and we were ready to go. And then, literally a week before she said she was going to give us the keys, she calls us and tells us you do not qualify.
Oh. So again, your
So our
hopes are dashed.
Are back down.
And now you come into this room, and I have the privilege of telling you that you have an angel.
Yes, we seen everybody in the room. We're like, what's
An
going on?
angel who stepped up and said, you know what I want to do? I'm going to pay their apartment for 1 whole year.
That's awesome.
Right?
Yes.
I'm going to buy them a vehicle.
Yeah.
Baltazar has his own, and child care seat in there, and then I think whatever, maybe it was some extra cash, whatever it was.
We got insurance for a year. We got a car. We got the whole apartment furnished for a whole
Furnished.
year. What else did we get? I got gas money, and I think that was it.
Groceries
Wow.
and
Groceries,
diapers.
yes.
How did that
Yes.
change your life?
Up to right now, it's been really wonderful.
It was.
We're still in the same
It was-
house.
yeah,
it's
we
a big
were-
house.
We were in shock to even, like, how do you come across someone?
Probably seemed like a dream.
How do you
Like,
come
pinch
across-
me. Pinch
Like
me.
a lottery,
I'm dreaming.
like a lottery chance.
How do you come across
if you won
the
the lottery?
Yeah,
that's
how
okay.
do you?
Wow.
And
how
what do you do now? Because this is the coolest part, I
Yeah.
think.
So now I'm the program manager for the job center.
But
at
what
Oakland
is
Valley.
that? What do you do?
I help people get back on their feet, just like I was helped one time. I help.
And you're an employee of Hope
yes,
of the
I'm
Valley.
an employee at Hope of the Valley. Been here for going on my 2nd year.
Wow.
I help people get back on.
And by the
their
way,
feet.
you do an amazing job.
Thank you.
And you give me so much grief that I haven't got you more staff because you love your clients.
I do. I'll do anything.
Like
for
you
them.
advocate
And it's
for people
obvious.
who they're undocumented, people who coming out of incarceration, people
Yes.
who are good people. They just need a job.
And they need a second chance, just
Yeah.
like we did.
Yeah.
That's it. And what about you, Chantel?
I'm the receptionist at headquarters. I'm the one who answers the phone on a
And you
daily
meet
basis.
all of our donors when they walk in,
Yeah.
half our clients when they walk
Yeah.
in. And you
Yes.
kill it, like
Thank you.
I hear from so many, I call up, I came in, and you've got an energy, and I think maybe it's because you've been through a struggle, that you've got an extra bit of empathy, an
Yes.
extra bit of grace. Well, let me ask you this. I know I'm impartial. I'm a young dad. The family shelters are it for me. Like I would sell my kidney, my lung. Like that's just the best thing we do, right?
Yes.
We have 3 hotels coming online. It's going to be 724 beds for families, just honestly, just like you, just like my family. Can you give me an insight into having your perspective? What does that mean to have that in the Valley? Because when you were going through the struggle, they couldn't find a bed for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you were left out there in a place that you were really clear just wasn't safe for kids. What does it mean?
I went yesterday to go see the place.
What do you think?
I love it. Just the thought that it's gonna have a playground, a preschool. It's gonna have a playground for bigger kids. They're gonna have 3 meals. They're gonna have mental health services. They're gonna have case management. I think it's wonderful. It's gonna be a lot of help. It's a place designated for unhoused families.
It's a place where they
safe.
can feel safe.
Yeah.
That's the word, safe.
Yeah.
And that safety is a big thing
It
for
is.
moms.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, one of the things I've always said is just because a mom and her children are experiencing homelessness doesn't mean that mother loves her children any less than any other mother.
Especially because being a female out in a world like that,
It's hard.
it's hard. It's hard. At least we had us and my mom to always back each other up.
Yeah.
And we knew how it was out there, so we would always like stay connected and stay inside at work.
Yeah.
And as soon as we're back from work, we're right inside.
And what advice would you give to a mom who maybe found herself in the same situation that you were in?
To not give up.
Not
Times
give
get
up.
hard, but not give up.
Stay persistent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Show up to LA Family Housing with your stepmother.
If you could encapsulate, just put into a sentence that thing that makes hope different, you know, that wow that you had when you came in and you got that second chance, that feeling when all of a sudden the CEO is coming to you going, I know this never happened before, but we got something, or that feeling when you get called up and said, do you want a job? Do you think you'd, and now being a part of the team?
Welcoming.
I feel like a real person again.
Yeah.
Because I have a criminal record. I have my credit's not that good, and that was one of the main reasons why I would struggle to get a job. I've been clean for 4 years, and that was another struggle too. So I used to be a manager before all of this. I used to be a manager at McDonald's. I wanted to be a cop, and you know I made some bad choices. And it's true, the way you act or the way the life that you choose when you're younger, it affects you when you're older. And it really affected us. And she was always a good kid, but I guess as an older sister, my choices kind of affected the whole family. But you know, Hope of the Valley gave us a second choice. They hired me.
Look at me now.
Yeah. And look at me now, I'm manager now.
And we're glad we did.
Yeah, and trust me, like I have 2 employees under me. I go hard for them. I go hard for my employees. I'm very thankful that I'm able to be here.
Yeah.
I'm so proud to be a part of Hope and to call you all my friends. And I think part of the struggle, we have to get families off the street.
Yes.
Families need support, and it can't just be any other shelter. Each of these hotels are going to be specifically made for families.
Yes.
And I think that's something that's very Hope of the
It's something
Valley.
that's very needed, especially here in the Valley, because it's something that we don't have. And majority of the people in the motels are families, are single mothers with kids.
Yeah.
It's not single men and women, no, it's families. And with this motels coming in the Valley, it's going to be a big help, because it's an environment where you meet other people that are going to support you, because you don't get that support from your family, you get that support from strangers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we're asking people to give $5,000 to sponsor a room, because the truth is, to open these shelters, we're about, give or take, about $4 million short. And I'm the finance guy, so I don't sleep anymore, and I twitch, and I look like this. Right? I was very attractive before these bills.
But it's for a good cause.
If you could tell someone what that investment means in a family.
It could change a person's life.
It sure can.
It will. I know it will. It will.
Yeah.
It could change the whole
Especially
family.
because Hope of the Valley holds weight. The name Hope of the Valley holds a lot of weight.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is we would call a lot of apartments and try to rent them, but because of our background, they wouldn't give us not even an opportunity, even though we had a job. And we didn't have like a record where we would trash an apartment or stuff like that. No, we were wrongfully evicted. But then I remember we were in South Central LA looking for an apartment at this point, because we were thinking it was our only hope out there. And I remember telling her to pull over, and I looked up on Google houses for rent in San Fernando Valley. I found the number, and then I told the guy, I have something you call a voucher. I promise you, I have the money. I just would like to know if, and then he said, what foundation is this? Is it LA Family Housing? I said, no, Hope of the Valley. And he said, I've worked with Hope of the Valley before. I know what you're talking about. When do you want to come and look at them? And I was like, really? For real? He goes, yes, I know them. I've worked with them before.
Wow.
And then I'm like right now? Like I can go like right now. And he goes, yes, I'll be available within the next hour. And I said, that's perfect. I'm coming from LA, so I'll be there within the next hour. He said, I have 7 different locations. You can come and pick up the keys and go to all 7 different locations and choose the one that you like the best.
Wow.
Yeah. So we definitely went to the 7 locations. And we found one in Arleta.
Yeah.
And I told him this is the one. And he said, how are you going to pay? And I said, I have the money now for a year. But I promise you in a year we're going to be able to pay the rent. And he said, I'm not worried about that. I know you will. I know that who I'm housing is through Hope of the Valley. So I know you're going to have it when time is right. And you have a whole year to gather up yourself together and do what you have to do. And I said, okay. And most apartments, another thing with apartments is most of them, if you don't have the support like Hope of the Valley, they ask you for like your background, your fingerprints, your pay stubs. You gotta make 4 times the rent.
Yeah.
The down payment, the first month, the last month, and
security,
like everything.
Yeah.
And
an arm and a leg just in an apartment.
And he didn't do a background check. He didn't do a credit check. He didn't ask for no pay stubs. He didn't ask for anything. And I told him, it's my mom, my kids, my sister, her kid. He said, I don't care.
Wow.
He goes, put their names on the contract, put your contact name, and this talk business. And I'm like, really?
Wow.
And he goes, if you want the one in Arleta, get it. And then I was like, again, Hope of the Valley is going to pay. He goes, I know they will.
Wow. Well, Chantel,
5 years later,
Brenda,
we're still there.
That's all.
on behalf of Rowan and myself and all of Hope of the Valley, please, or Hope the Mission now, please know how proud we are of you. And we are so thankful for the journey that you've been on and where you're at today. And we wish you nothing but the best of success in your future and for your families. Thank you.
Thank you.